on our heritage buildings. But please come and visit. If you're not from SCA, come and visit us. The buildings are strong, not damp, not crumbling like they claim. They've been beautifully renovated for an art school in 1996 for $19 million. Why spend $19 million on excellent art campus facilities, the envy of others, to give it up now? Recently they spent extra money consolidating our galleries, changing tutorial rooms around, upgrading cafe area, etc, etc, etc. So why gut the site now? We are left to imagine that they have plotted some lucrative deal for the Callan Park site.
Shame.
Because all they say is that they don't know what will become of it. Practice-led research is the international gold standard in visual art research. Studios are our laboratories. If they're shrunk to fit Camperdown, we will become art theorists, not practitioners. We will no longer be Sydney College of the Arts. The entire network of studios and workshops is essential for the practice-led research. We are happy to move if they move the lot. Yeah! So there's a good reason why we don't make a profit when we're in art school. There's no private support for art that is on the edge. It's only safe art that gets private people support. All masterpieces were transgressive in their day. So we need government, we need that federal funding coming through the university for culture. It's accountable for culture, the government. Audiences have never been bigger in art exhibitions. So Vice-Chancellor, keep to your UCID handbook and provide the studios, workshops and our specialist library as promised there. All these are too big for Camperdown. Teach what you committed to in the handbooks. Be as good as your word. Be the fantastic uni we signed on to. Melbourne Uni employed Ziggy Kwiatkowski in 2009 to do an independent review. What are you doing? Where is our independent review? Where is our independent review? Why act with such callous speed? This is detrimental to the reputation of the whole university.
Shame!
University of Melbourne is now ranked 52 in the world because it supports the arts, while Sydney is 126. So I say keep all SCA curriculum, staff and campus until an independent review. Reinstate enrolments for 2017. If you don't advertise our worth, we will. We will bring in more students. Never has there been such an exciting time to be an art student. So in conclusion, I thank you, Vice-Chancellor Spence, often now called Dollars and Spence. You have brought us out of our studios and workshops to meet each other and stand together united to celebrate our SCA. You have stirred a dragon.
Reinstate the BBA!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the main quad. We have a point to make today and we will make it. My name's Grant Wheeler. I represent the Community and Public Sector Union at the university. I'd like to give a big call out to the National Tertiary Education Union, to the SRC and to Supra. Together we have a wave of movement at the moment and this will not stop. We will win this battle together. We will continue together. Now, over the past year or so, the past year has really been a gutter moment for the University of Sydney. I have here the latest in a series of offences. This is the offending document in question, the change plan, the draft change plan that will reduce SCA to practically nothing comparatively. So, okay, we'll let the drummers arrive, then we'll continue this, so just a moment. Professional staff are under the hammer here. We were told at the beginning of this process that what all of this was about was doing what is in the best interest of arts in New South Wales. Now, I fail to see how shrinking SCA, squeezing it into the university in non-fit-for-purpose buildings and getting rid of over half the staff is good for the arts scene in New South Wales. It cannot be, and if this is the sort of logic that we're getting from the main quad, God help us all. Ceramics, jewellery and glassware will go for a start. This is not an expansion of what we offer. This is not quality for New South Wales. This is not quality for University of Sydney students. This is vandalism. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce Jamie Parker, who you will all know as the member for Balmain, a member of the Greens, a supporter of SCA going way back. Welcome, Jamie.
I'm one of the few people that doesn't need to stand on the step. Well, can I too acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and the land that I represent as a member for Balmain. That land is the land of the Gadigal and Wangal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to their elders both past and present and extend that respect to any Aboriginal people that are here today. Well, as a member for Balmain, you'll know that Callan Park is in my electorate, and we've heard from this university that there's a financial crisis at SCA. But the fact is, there's only one crisis, and that's a crisis of credibility of the people in there, the university management. Because the crisis in credibility is because of the fact that this whole campaign against SCA has been wholly and solely manufactured. It's manufactured because if you look at the accounts of SCA, the revenue is around $9 million. The charge, that's from students. Student income revenue is around $9 million, and the charge that the university puts on the Sydney College of the Arts is also around $9 million. This is this manufactured charge, the UEM, that the university places on faculties within the university. And what's clear is this so-called crisis is purely manufactured because of the rigged system. That means that places like SCA that have studio-based practice, that have larger areas for students, are designed to fail, and we're here to say that's not good enough. And what made that even clearer was this facade, this embarrassing pretense that the merger, which was in fact a complete abandonment of any commitment to the visual arts, was about a centre of excellence. When the university deal finally fell apart because of the pressure by students and staff and community members like you, it was an incredible victory. And I think everyone here deserves a huge round of applause for the commitment that they've made. Give yourselves a big round of applause, because that was a great win. That was a fantastic win. And when we started this campaign, what did you hear people say? Oh, it's a fait accompli. Oh, they're going to merge us. It's going to happen. NAS and former COFA and SCA will all get merged. And what we did is we defeated that. We defeated that in the face of all of the pressure from the university administration. And now we need to take one more step, because we know that if Sydney College of the Arts moves from Callan Park, three things will happen. Firstly, it'll be left in the clutches of Baird and his mates in the state government. And that's something which, quite frankly, we can't countenance. The SCA has been a fantastic tenant, And as a representative of this local community, we want SCA to stay. But importantly, the second thing is any move will destroy what is so special. What is so special and unique about SCA, and that's that studio-based practice. That's giving students and staff workshop and studio space, and that will be destroyed under this model. And of course, finally, what will be destroyed in reality is any commitment that this university has to the arts because of the enormous butchering of staff. Over 50% of staff are set to be chopped under this model, and that we don't accept. And that we can't accept because all across this country, we're seeing an attack on the arts. We see it in the federal government, we see it in the state government, and this is a line in the sand that must not be crossed. We say, SCA, here to stay. What do we say? And that's so important because we've defeated the intransigence of the university administration when it comes to the issue of mergers. And now we need to stand firm at Callan Park because the alternative, as you know, will be the destruction of the studio-based practice, falling into the clutches of the Liberal government and the undermining of staff and academics at SCA. So I ask you, continue your efforts to make the university see sense. Let's tell them that this manufactured UEM is designed to make this institution fail and we won't stand for it. Let's stand for education, which isn't just about creating pieces of value-added human capital. But the fight we're fighting for is a fight where education is about liberation. It's about exploration. It's about new ideas. It's about believing in the impossible. SCA, here to stay.
Ceramics and jewellery are going, and the reason given is because they are the more resource-intensive mediums. The business school doesn't take much by way of resourcing. This is the future of the university. The space charge that is part of the university economic model discriminates against elements of the university that need space and that need resources. We will end up as a glorified business college if we do not stop this rot now. Our next speaker is Hall Greenland. Now, he's been an activist from way back, an award-winning journalist. He's a local at Leichhardt, a member of Friends of Callan Park, and the convener of the New South Wales Greens. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Hall Greenland. Thank you very much, Hall.
Thanks very much for that introduction. I always hate speaking after Jamie, because I was on Leichhardt Council with him once, and my partner came to a meeting in which Jamie and I were both participating. She went home early, but the first thing she said to me when she woke up the next day was, "Why can't you be more like Jamie Parker?" So I will do my best. I am here wearing my hat as the representative of the Friends of Callan Park, which is the largest of the community organisations in Leichhardt municipality, surrounding, as we do in fact, literally Callan Park. And it is part of the protection of Callan Park that you are in Kirkbride. Callan Park is 61 hectares of hard-fought and hard-won public land. It has got great features. It's a horseshoe, it's a valley, it faces north, it's on the waterfront. It has great geological and geographical advantages. We say that it is a third of the size of Centennial Park, but 3 times as beautiful. But the jewel in the crown of that place is Kirkbride. And as long as the SCA has been in Kirkbride, it has been protected. It is part of the de facto saving of Callan Park that you are there and that you are valued and essential tenants of that place. And that is why, the main reason why, we are incredibly concerned and angry at this plan to shift what is an ideal tenant from an ideal site that the university has hatched up without consultation either with you or with the community at large. And we haven't got any illusions about the university. Where it's the actual occupation and it's you and the staff that we value. The university administration, when they wanted to sell off parts of Callan Park and put thousands of apartments there, remained mute while that battle went on. Later on, they had plans to develop the site themselves. So bad were their plans that the Department of Planning, the developer's friend in New South Wales, that approves 98% of applications that come before it, decreed that the plan from the university authorities was an overdevelopment and it was not something they could contemplate even for Callan Park. So it's not the university authorities, but it is you that is valuable as far as Callan Park and as far as the surrounding community is concerned. The second reason I think we're here is that the saving of Callan Park, the fact that it exists and that it is protected by special legislation, is thanks to a grassroots democratic campaign, an insurgency by the community over many years on many occasions to make sure that it was not sold off, that it remained as this wonderful, historic, iconic heritage green space in the centre of Sydney on the backwaters of Sydney Harbour. And that's been because, as I said, this insurgent grassroots democracy, the community mobilising and the community winning innumerable fights down the years. And because you are doing the same thing, you are organising, you are insisting that the people involved in something have every right to determine what happens with that activity, with that institution. It's because it's a similar fight that we are here standing with you, and we've organised a meeting on Saturday for the local community to hear from you at Kirkbride. It's because of the similarities in the struggle. The final thing I will say to you is this, is that many of us have been here and some of us have been expelled and some of us have graduated and so on, but we've been here at this place and we know the richness, the range of possibilities, the pluralism of lifestyles, of life choices that exist in this place is because of students and staff and the struggles in the past. It has been a community of scholars. Yes, that's an old liberal bourgeois ideological description of the university, but from time to time it comes true. And the scholars, staff and students mobilise to enrich this place. Back in the 70s, very famously this was done, but this is not the only examples. It was done with philosophy when people camped, people occupied, people marched, people struck in order to get feminism and Marxism included as valid subjects in a philosophical course. And it happened. It happened in those same years with political economy, that there are other views besides neoclassical rational choice, liberalism as far as economics and the understanding of capitalism and the way it works. There are other schools of thought and they were just as valid, or more valid, in fact, for many of us, in understanding the economy. So again, it was staff and students that insisted that there be a range, that there be choices. And it seems to me incontestable that this is what this is about. This is about enriching the choices, enriching the lifestyles, enriching the life choices that students have when they come to this place. It's not just as corporate drones that you could come out of this place. You could come out as an artist. You could come out as somebody who challenged, imaginatively attempted to capture the essence of this society, of this culture, and move it forward. Push back not just the frontiers of knowledge, but the frontiers of the imagination. And it's that important, it seems to me, that if we are going to have a university for the 21st century, a university deserves the name of a community of scholars, of an enriching place, it must have a place where there is a visual arts degree, where there is studios, where there is critical practice. And Kirkbride, quite frankly, is an ideal place for that. They say it's expensive, but you look around this university and I can see all kinds of investments going on. This has to be a priority, it seems to me. And if they are a bit short of money, as Jamie will tell you, the state government is rolling in cash from the stamp duty. And that stamp duty, lots of it, comes from Jamie's electorate. They can afford to invest money in the upkeep of Kirkbride. They are the landlord for Kirkbride and they should be challenged on that score. So, the Friends of Callan Park, we've got a solidarity meeting with you on Saturday at 11 o'clock outside Kirkbride. Come and inform your fellow citizens, but make no mistake about it. The Friends of Callan Park, and I suspect the community at large in the inner city, are with you in your attempt to democratically determine what happens to arts education at this place. And this is an insurgency I think people will identify with. And Callan Park needs you. You are an essential part of that wonderful place. Thank you.
It used the logic that what it wanted was what was best for arts in New South Wales. Now, that is incredible logic to me, absolutely incredible logic. To suggest that the way to improve arts in New South Wales is to remove Sydney University's contribution to it is a very strange thing to be saying publicly. Further, to my mind, it is the biggest and most unfounded slight directed towards the staff of SCA that I have ever heard of. And I believe that the university owes staff at SCA an apology for that. The students didn't fare much better. Over the 11 months or so, or more, of negotiations with UNSW in a desperate attempt to offload SCA, the students were not spoken to at all. They were not consulted with, the staff barely were, but the students weren't at all. They had a very great right to be angry. And when Stephen Garden, the provost, finally faced up to the students in an open meeting, they tore strips off him for very good reason. Our next and final speaker I had the pleasure of watching at that rally, and she led the way, tearing strips off the provost for very good reason. So I'd like to introduce to you now an SCA student, Jemima Wilson.
Hi everyone. Hi. I think that the speakers before me spoke very well to the absolute illogical financial reasons that the university has behind them in their actions. Their actions are inexcusable, and I don't think that I need to speak any more about how the UEM has destroyed the SCA that we know and love. I don't need to speak any more about how education is not for profit and about how especially arts and culture cannot and should not be for profit in a university system. This is education. This is our arts education. And more importantly than that, I really wanted to pick up on something that Jamie said. This is about believing in the impossible, because by coming to an art school, by making the choice to live life as someone who practices and works in the arts, whatever part of the arts and culture that is, that at some stage takes you believing in the impossible from yourself and from society to support something that, as is evident in New South Wales, has not been supported. So I want to thank you all for being here today, believing in the impossible, to be at art school and to be here with us at this rally. It's become clear that a move to main campus, no matter what visualisation it's in, it's not suitable for the SCA as it is now. The current proposal for a move to main campus destroys our community. It tears apart our lifeblood of studio-based practice. It means the loss of 60% of our staff who are so near and so dear to so many of us. They are the true heart of SCA, and by splitting us apart onto main campus, we are not, and I cannot reiterate this enough, there is no purpose-built, shiny new business school for SCA. We are not being relocated to something that retains what we love, and that's why we have to fight. We love our staff, we love our grounds, we love our studio-based practice. We enrolled as students for an expected product, and that is something that will not be delivered. It is already not being delivered due to the trauma, stress and instability that this move has done to us as a community. It is already ripping us apart bit by bit. This chokehold has begun, and this is why rallies like these are important. It's why unity is important, because no matter what, we are not getting what we're fighting for. Our demands have not been met, and they have changed because thankfully we got that stupid closure off the table. But the demands remain that we need our BVA reinstated to ensure the future of Sydney College of the Arts and arts education at the University of Sydney. We are demanding that we have no staff cuts. All of our staff need to stay. Our course outcomes and our studio-based practice cannot be lost, and there is no doubt under this draft change plan that it will be lost, and the university is pushing for that. So I'm here today to beg every single person here to go out and talk to your communities, talk to your people, get people involved, because the death of arts at a university speaks to a cultural cringe in Sydney. It speaks to a death of arts and culture here in the city that we know and love. For this reason, we have to fight. You have to keep talking. Come to our General Assemblies. Our next General Assembly is on August the 22nd. That's Monday at 1 p.m. at the SCA lawns. We need to get people excited. We need to have more of us rallying, all of us rallying united, because the university is not delivering. On the energy of that march up here and the beautiful... Actually, I just want to have a huge round of applause, the biggest one you possibly can, for everyone here today, but for our SOS SCA group and the drums and the red capes. That was beautiful, guys. They may not be speaking or up on the stand, and I acknowledge that I'm, here, but I'm not everyone. But I want to give a big round of applause to all our staff, to any staff members that are here today. I can see some familiar faces. We love you. We want to unite. We want to save this college and save your job. So a big round of applause for them. A huge round of applause to the NTEU and the CPSU and all our speakers today. And a huge round of applause for yourselves, for being here, for fighting for our college, for fighting for arts, for fighting for our staff, for doing the right thing, for daring to stand up in a world that tells you not to. Just a round of applause for yourselves. And now I would like to invite every single person here to march with us back down Eastern Avenue, to make those voices heard, to march towards, appropriately for an art school, the Herman's Pub. And to join us once more, just to let the university know we're not going anywhere, and what they're doing to us is wrong and will always be wrong. Let SCA stay!
When SCA is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! The students, united! SCA, here to stay! SCA, here to stay! Let's bunch of names which they were saying that they would fire if we move. Well, we're not going to let that happen, and we're putting Michael Spence and Popos Garden on notice. If they don't give in to our demands by the end of the week, we will have to talk about escalating, and we will have to escalate this campaign to win. Now, if anyone would like to say a few words while we're here, please come up and feel free to use the megaphone.